It's time to take a trip into New York City for the most hyped cookies of the last decade, and that's starting right now. By now, you must have heard of LEVAIN's cookies, or at least seen some copycat to the style. LEVAIN was founded in 1995 by a pair of competitive athletes who decided to get into baking bread. They created the ultimate chocolate chip walnut cookie to give them extra energy while training for a triathlon. As of now, the menu has expanded, and in addition to their 8 physical stores, you can get these cookies delivered fresh pretty much anywhere. While visiting my brother in Manhattan, we figured this was a must-try. I needed to understand the hype. How and why exactly did they land on 6-ounce balls of cookies? Before we picked up cookies, we took a stroll through the Central Park Zoo for the kid. And we stopped at a completely different bakery for a quick little macaron, and also had a full family brunch at Mole in the Upper East Side. LEVAIN in the Upper East Side was a cute little place, and appears to be their newest location. It's in a pretty well-developed section of New York City, a neighborhood in the Upper East Side, definitely a higher per capita income area of New York. The clear focus here is on cookies, but you can also see them turning out bread and pastries and other little nibbles. But those things weren't the focus of this trip. We ended up trying 4 different cookies at $5 a piece just to get the full experience. As it turns out, we left out 2 cookies because they seemed a little redundant. Those were dark chocolate chip and the chocolate chip walnut. It just seemed unnecessary based on what we got. I know how nuts in a chocolate chip cookie affect the taste, and honestly, I don't really like it. Now, I realize that chocolate chip walnut is actually their most popular flavor, but I'm the one who made the call to leave that one out and to go with the 2 chocolate chip instead. It just sounded more interesting to me. So let's see how it tastes. First cookie, Rocky Road. A summer classic that won't melt too fast to really enjoy it. Awaken your childhood nostalgia with a cookie-fied twist on a classic flavor. Here at LEVAIN just for the summer. Baked with love to conjure vibes of road trips and campfires, the dark chocolate cookie is chock full of rich, semi-sweet chocolate chips, dry roasted cashews, and pillowy marshmallows. One bite and you're back at summer camp. Ghost stories, anyone? Digging into this one, I have to say, marshmallows always sounds good in a cookie until you realize the whole thing melted away before you even got a chance to taste it. In this case here, because of the denseness of the cookie and the size, there was still a little bit left, which was gooey and really good. The cookie dough had a rich taste of cocoa powder, but it was definitely on the dry side. Getting to the center of the cookie with the chocolate chips really helped with that, and the fatty cashews also helped moisten it a little bit. But as I always feel with chocolate cookie doughs, this feels like it requires that you have a cold glass of milk with it, and I'm not the drinking milk with cookies kind of guy, so this one wasn't exactly my favorite. Cookie number 2, dark chocolate peanut butter chip. Staff favorite, sweet, savory, and perfectly balanced. These cookies satisfy cravings for peanut butter and chocolate lovers. Dark chocolate cookie dough is packed with soft, smooth peanut butter chips to create the perfect cookie confection. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, hit the thumbs up to let YouTube know that you're loving it. Again, in this case, the dark chocolate cookie dough kind of dries out your mouth a little bit, but I feel like the peanut butter chips in this case actually really help to moisten everything in a much better way than the previous cookie. So far, I really liked this one, but there was definitely a common flaw that was starting to develop here. Cookie number 3, oatmeal raisin. A decadent twist on a classic. Weighing in at 6 ounces each, these rich and buttery cookies are golden brown on the outside, moist on the inside, and full of plump, sweet raisins. Oatmeal raisin cookies are pretty divisive. People who like them really like them, and people who hate them really can't stand them. In my opinion, this one here was really, really good. You would think that spiking cookie dough with oats would dry it out even more than we were already seeing with these cookie doughs, but in this case it really didn't. I gotta admit it. And the raisins that they're using here have a little bit of bitterness to them, so it wasn't just like little bombs of wet sweetness inside of the cookie. So far, this one was my favorite, but not perfect. Cookie number 4, 2-chip chocolate chip. Introducing 2-chip chocolate chip, our decadent take on a classic chocolate chip cookie, made without nuts, perfectly crispy on the outside and satisfyingly thick and gooey in the center. This cookie is brimming with semi-sweet and dark chocolate chips for a rich depth of flavor. This is really the one that I had my eye on. From the description, it sort of mimics kind of that classic Toll House cookie recipe, where you have like a mix of chocolate chips, in this case here, semi-sweet and dark, but it's in that kind of big 6-ounce form factor. Biting into it, I loved how at room temperature, the chocolate inside was gooey and molten, which I believe is the real reason why people love these cookies. So at least I understand that part of it. The exterior was also nice and crispy too. So you have your dichotomy of soft and chewy, along with crispy on the outside. Also remarkable are the chocolate chips that are used here. With at least the dark chips, you can tell this is a high quality chocolate, with some really deep and rich flavors. Out of the 4, this one was my favorite, and in my opinion the best, by quite a large margin. But just like the other 3, there was that flaw. When you portion out a 6-ounce ball of cookie dough and bake it, it's going to be difficult for the center of that cookie to cook at the same rate as the exterior of the cookie. That's what gives these particular cookies that gradient of doneness. But also, in a lot of cases with cookies like these, that taste of unbaked flour in the center of the cookie, which is something I talked about quite a lot in that cookie therapy video, which I linked to at the end of this video. For LEVAIN's cookies, it was a lot less obvious, especially in the oatmeal raisin cookie, which probably had a lot of cinnamon in there to help mask that unbaked flour taste. Unbaked flour also gives a little bit of an odd texture. All in all, LEVAIN's cookies are pretty good, but I actually wonder how they would be if you baked that cookie dough in normal size portions. We have some more New York City related videos out there and on the way, including an amazing Mexican food experience. So make sure you subscribe so those come up in your feed. As I mentioned, this reminds me a lot of the oversized cookies that my area tried to capitalize on a couple of years ago. Click into this video right here to check that out,